Set the stage by plunging the audience into the mystique of Babylon, describing its grandeur, ancient streets, and legendary walls. Introduce the central question: why does the city, once the pinnacle of civilization, harbor secrets modern science cannot explain? Create a cinematic hook that teases forbidden knowledge and unexplained phenomena. Babylon, the city of legend, rises in the mind like a golden mirage from the dusty plains of Mesopotamia. Its massive walls, said to stretch beyond the horizon, and its towering ziggurats, piercing the sky, were more than just feats of architecture, they were symbols of human ambition intertwined with divine mystery. Scholars describe Babylon as a center of trade, power, and culture, yet whispers of curses, forbidden rituals, and unexplainable events cling to its ruins, defying logical explanation. Imagine walking through the grand processional way, lined with statues of gods and guardians, while shadows of the past seem to move just beyond the corner of your eye. Ancient texts hint at knowledge so profound that even modern science struggles to comprehend its purpose. Were Babylon's architects simply masters of engineering, or were they custodians of secrets lost to time? Tonight, we embark on a journey into the heart of Babylon's enigmas, a world where myth collides with history, and where every discovery raises more questions than answers. Prepare to uncover a cursed city whose mysteries continue to haunt humanity, challenging our understanding of what is possible. Explore the historical and cultural background of Babylon, from Sumerian roots to Nebuchadnezzar's reign. Highlight contrasts between archaeological evidence and myths, questioning what historians accept versus what remains hidden. Introduce the idea that Babylon was more than just a city, it may have been a hub of forbidden knowledge. Babylon did not emerge overnight, it rose from the fertile plains of Mesopotamia, a land crisscrossed by the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, where the first whispers of civilization were already taking shape. Long before Babylon became a seat of empire, Sumerian city-states dotted the region, each with their own temples, ziggurats, and pantheon of gods. The knowledge of irrigation, writing, and law was already being cultivated, yet the seeds of something far greater, something almost unfathomable, were quietly being sown. By the time Hammurabi came to power, Babylon had begun to solidify its place as a cultural and political center. His code of laws, etched into stone, reflects a society deeply concerned with order, justice, and human behavior. But beyond these tangible achievements, the city seemed to harbor an invisible layer of secrets. Ancient texts suggest that Babylon was not merely a city of men, but a place where the divine and mortal realms intersected, where rituals and knowledge were preserved in ways that modern historians struggle to interpret. Under Nebuchadnezzar II, Babylon reached unprecedented heights. The Hanging Gardens, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, were said to defy the very principles of nature, lush greenery floating atop an engineered masterpiece. Scholars debate whether such gardens truly existed or were embellished myths, but the legend persists, hinting at technologies and designs that should have been impossible for that era. Babylon's streets, palaces, and temples were not just centers of power, they were canvases for the human desire to grasp the divine. Archaeological excavations have revealed layers upon layers of construction, destruction, and reconstruction, suggesting that Babylon was continuously reshaped to suit the ambitions of its rulers. Yet, despite extensive study, much remains unexplained. Certain inscriptions, symbols, and artifacts resist straightforward interpretation, as though some knowledge was intentionally concealed. Historians and archaeologists often present Babylon as a pinnacle of ancient civilization, but the shadow of mystery never fully lifts. It is in this tension between documented history and lingering enigma that Babylon's true allure lies. Was it merely a city that grew through human ingenuity, or did it serve as a repository of forbidden wisdom, hidden from those not prepared to understand it? The contrast between what is known and what remains concealed invites both fascination and unease. As we delve deeper into Babylon's story, it becomes clear that understanding its origins may require questioning not only the past but the limits of human comprehension itself. Delve into legends of curses, divine wrath, and inexplicable events linked to Babylon. Contrast documented disasters with supernatural claims, weaving suspense around whether these stories are myth or a warning encoded in history. Introduce mysterious artifacts and inscriptions that hint at an ominous past. Babylon's grandeur was never without shadows. Beyond its golden walls and magnificent ziggurats, stories persist of curses, divine punishments, and unexplainable phenomena that plagued the city. Ancient texts speak of rulers who faced sudden calamities, citizens struck by inexplicable misfortune, and structures that collapsed under mysterious circumstances. Some scholars dismiss these accounts as superstition, yet the consistency and detail of the record suggest a pattern that cannot be easily ignored. Legends tell of Nebuchadnezzar himself being haunted by visions and madness, a punishment, some claim, for hubris against the gods. Babylon's fall, too, is wrapped in eerie ambiguity. Conquered by successive empires, its destruction is chronicled both as historical fact and as divine retribution, blurring the line between reality and myth. The city's very name evokes fear and fascination, a cautionary tale of power intertwined with mystery. Archaeological discoveries have uncovered artifacts that seem to echo these ominous tales. Inscriptions etched into walls speak of rituals intended to ward off unseen forces, while mysterious figurines and talismans suggest an obsession with appeasing powers beyond human comprehension. Were these objects merely religious symbols, or did they serve a more arcane purpose, safeguarding knowledge too dangerous to reveal openly? The ambiguity fuels speculation, and the absence of definitive answers only heightens the intrigue. Natural disasters also contributed to Babylon's ominous reputation. Floods, fires, and earthquakes were recorded alongside political turmoil, creating a sense that the city was cursed both by the heavens and by fate itself. Yet, what if these calamities were not simply coincidental? Some researchers argue that Babylon's architects deliberately aligned structures with celestial events, hinting at knowledge of cosmic forces. If true, then the so-called curses may have been warnings encoded into the city's very design, a message lost to time but still palpable in the remnants that survive. Stories of forbidden rituals further complicate Babylon's legacy. Accounts of secret chambers, shadowy ceremonies, and practices that modern scholars hesitate to interpret suggest that some knowledge was deliberately hidden. Was the curse a literal threat, or a psychological one, designed to keep outsiders away from truths the rulers sought to protect? The lines between superstition, symbolism, and reality become almost indistinguishable, creating a rich tapestry of suspense that continues to capture the imagination of historians, archaeologists, and mystery enthusiasts alike. The cursed legacy of Babylon extends far beyond the city's walls. Its myths have permeated literature, religion, and collective memory, shaping perceptions of power, ambition, and the unknown. Each discovery, whether mundane or inexplicable, reinforces the sense that Babylon was a place where human achievement collided with forces beyond understanding. As we explore the city's lost technologies, secret rituals, and the mysteries that survived its fall, the question remains, was Babylon cursed by divine wrath, or was it simply guarding knowledge too dangerous for ordinary men to comprehend? Investigate claims of advanced knowledge seemingly beyond their time, astronomy, engineering, and construction techniques. Frame the tension between modern science trying to replicate Babylonian marvels and the lingering mysteries that defy explanation. Include eyewitness accounts and historical records that suggest impossible feats. Babylon was more than a city of kings and priests, it was a laboratory of knowledge, where innovation intersected with ambition. The very streets and monuments of the city hint at technologies that, even today, challenge our understanding. Scholars marvel at the precision of its ziggurats, the durability of its walls, and the ingenuity of its water management systems, yet certain aspects remain baffling. How could a civilization over 3 millennia ago construct architectural wonders that still leave modern engineers questioning the limits of ancient capability? Take the Hanging Gardens, for example. Legends describe tiered gardens suspended in the air, irrigated by systems that seem impossible without advanced pumps and hydraulic engineering. Babylon reminds us that every civilization leaves traces of both what it wanted remembered and what it sought to conceal. While walls crumble and artifacts decay, the enigmas persist, encoded in stories, alignments, and structures that challenge our understanding of time, science, and human potential. Babylon becomes more than a historical site, it transforms into a canvas upon which mystery, curiosity, and imagination continue to play. Ultimately, Babylon's secrets may never be fully uncovered, but that is precisely what ensures its eternal allure. It is a city that exists not only in history but in the human fascination with the unknown. By walking its streets, studying its relics, and pondering its mysteries, we participate in a dialogue across millennia, one that asks whether civilization is measured solely by tangible achievements or by the enigmas it leaves behind. Babylon endures as both monument and mystery, inviting every new generation to wonder, to question, and to dream. Its walls may be silent, and its gardens lost, but the city's voice resonates through the sands of time, a whisper of knowledge, power, and secrets that may forever elude comprehension, ensuring that Babylon remains one of the most enigmatic and compelling civilizations the world has ever known. Some historians argue the gardens were merely symbolic, but even skeptics admit that Babylonian texts reference mechanisms sophisticated enough to manipulate water in ways previously thought unachievable. Was it simply genius, or did they possess lost technologies now forgotten to humanity? Astronomy offers another tantalizing glimpse into Babylonian ingenuity. The Babylonians meticulously recorded celestial events, predicting eclipses and tracking planetary movements with extraordinary accuracy. Their observatories were aligned to the heavens with precision that seems uncanny for an ancient civilization. Some suggest that this knowledge allowed them to harness cosmic forces in rituals or architecture, blending science with esoteric understanding in ways modern scholars struggle to replicate. Even everyday structures hint at lost expertise. Roads, bridges, and city layouts reflect a level of planning that balances aesthetics, durability, and function. Certain inscriptions speak of materials and techniques that no longer exist, implying a deliberate choice to preserve knowledge for select initiates. Artifacts reveal tools and construction methods that challenge conventional timelines of technological development, suggesting that Babylon may have been a hub for experimentation, innovation, and secrets too advanced for their era. Eyewitness accounts and historical texts add to the mystery. Travelers wrote of monuments that seemed to defy gravity, gates carved with intricate reliefs that appeared almost alive, and walls so vast they seemed to encompass the horizon itself. Even today, replicas and simulations struggle to recreate the scale and intricacy of these marvels. The tension between observable reality and the unexplained leaves historians questioning, did Babylon simply achieve remarkable feats through human ingenuity, or was there an element of knowledge deliberately hidden, a technology lost to time but once wielded with precision and intent? In Babylon, every corner seems to whisper secrets. Each stone and inscription points to accomplishments that modern science admires but cannot fully explain. As we venture further into the city's mysteries, it becomes clear that Babylon was not just an architectural or cultural marvel, it was a testament to human curiosity and possibly a repository of knowledge far beyond what history has dared to preserve. Reveal Babylonian practices rarely mentioned in textbooks, hidden temples, esoteric rituals, and possible secret societies. Discuss the tension between what archaeologists accept and forbidden knowledge hinted at in ancient texts. Build suspense around what these secrets may have been designed to protect. Beneath Babylon's grandeur lay a shadowed world few dared to describe. Hidden chambers, secret temples, and cryptic inscriptions suggest that not all knowledge was intended for public eyes. Some historians argue that these spaces were purely ceremonial, yet the recurring symbols and mysterious artifacts point to something far deeper, a system of forbidden rituals, preserved across generations, and potentially governed by clandestine societies whose purpose remains shrouded in secrecy. Ancient texts reference initiates who were entrusted with knowledge too sacred, or too dangerous, for ordinary citizens. These rites often combined astronomy, alchemy, and esoteric philosophy, blending observable reality with metaphysical beliefs. Scholars debate whether these practices were spiritual exercises or coded methods to manipulate natural forces. The secrecy surrounding them hints at a society that valued control over revelation, a city where knowledge could empower, or destroy, those who wielded it unwisely. Descriptions of these rituals suggest a striking interplay between fear and reverence. Offerings to gods, chants synchronized with celestial events, and symbols carved into stone all indicate a meticulous preservation of esoteric wisdom. Some inscriptions appear to serve as warnings, hinting at consequences for those who dared to transgress boundaries established by the city's custodians. The line between devotion and danger was perilously thin, adding a psychological dimension to Babylon's mysterious allure. Evidence of secret societies emerges in subtle ways. Architectural layouts, inaccessible rooms, and coded carvings hint at groups operating behind the veneer of public life. These societies may have held knowledge of Babylon's advanced technologies, astronomical secrets, or even rituals capable of influencing the physical world. The precise motives remain unknown, but their presence suggests that Babylon's most profound mysteries were deliberately concealed, maintained not for glory, but for protection, of power, knowledge, or perhaps something even more sinister. Modern historians continue to grapple with these revelations. While archaeology uncovers walls and artifacts, the intangible nature of rituals and secret practices leaves interpretation highly speculative. Yet the persistent evidence, symbols etched in temples, figurines hidden beneath floors, and inscriptions warning of unseen forces, creates a compelling narrative. Babylon was a city of dualities, of seen and unseen, known and forbidden. Its secret societies, guardians of hidden knowledge, ensured that only the prepared, the worthy, or the initiated could glimpse the full extent of what the city truly held. As we continue to explore Babylon, the forbidden rituals and enigmatic societies remind us that history often conceals as much as it reveals. They challenge the assumption that ancient civilizations were simply primitive or straightforward. In Babylon, the intersection of power, mystery, and secrecy created a world where knowledge was sacred, danger was real, and the line between myth and reality became increasingly blurred. Examine key archaeological findings that perplex historians: enigmatic inscriptions, structures aligned with celestial phenomena, and artifacts seemingly out of place. Frame each discovery as a puzzle. Does science explain it, or does it hint at something more sinister and mysterious? Babylon's ruins are more than remnants of grandeur, they are puzzles that challenge the very foundations of history. Excavations over the past century have uncovered layers of structures, artifacts, and inscriptions that do not always conform to what scholars expect. Some discoveries suggest practical ingenuity, yet others defy conventional explanation, hinting at knowledge or phenomena that modern science struggles to replicate. One of the most intriguing finds involves Babylonian astronomical alignments. Several temples and ziggurats appear deliberately positioned to correspond with celestial events, including solstices and planetary movements. While some experts attribute these alignments to religious devotion, others argue that the precision suggests a sophisticated understanding of astronomy, possibly surpassing the capabilities of contemporary civilizations. Were these alignments purely symbolic, or did they serve a deeper, unknown purpose? Inscriptions uncovered in hidden chambers add another layer of mystery. Certain texts describe rituals, technological processes, or metaphysical concepts that remain largely undeciphered. Scholars have attempted to interpret them using conventional knowledge, yet the meanings often elude complete understanding. These writings suggest that Babylon harbored information that was intentionally encoded, preserved for those initiated into secret knowledge, or possibly too dangerous for public disclosure. Artifacts themselves raise baffling questions. Tools that appear far more advanced than expected, construction techniques seemingly impossible for the era, and symbolic carvings hinting at lost technologies create a persistent tension between science and legend. Some objects seem to suggest that the Babylonians possessed knowledge of physics, mechanics, or energy manipulation that modern experts can only theorize about. Could these findings point to a civilization experimenting with forces now forgotten, or is there an element of exaggeration and myth entwined with reality? Even the urban planning of Babylon challenges conventional assumptions. Roads, walls, and canals follow a logical yet complex design, demonstrating advanced engineering skill. Certain foundations reveal construction techniques that suggest knowledge of structural stability far ahead of their time. How much of this knowledge was empirical, and how much was derived from arcane understanding? This question lingers, leaving researchers with both admiration and unease. Perhaps the most unsettling aspect of these discoveries is their consistency across time. Different layers of Babylon, spanning centuries, reveal recurring motifs, designs, and technological hints. This repetition suggests intentional preservation of knowledge, a continuity that implies foresight and planning beyond ordinary administrative concerns. The evidence paints a picture of a city that was not only a hub of culture and power but also a deliberate repository of hidden knowledge. The combination of tangible structures, enigmatic inscriptions, and inexplicable artifacts ensures that Babylon remains a living mystery. Each discovery compels modern science to question its own limits while teasing the imagination with possibilities of forgotten wisdom, secret knowledge, or technologies lost to time. The ruins speak in whispers, inviting those who dare to look closer, challenging the assumption that every secret of the ancient world can be explained through conventional means. Contrast Babylon's historical reality with its mythic presence in religious texts, epic poetry, and folklore. Explore how stories of divine punishment, utopian knowledge, and apocalyptic visions blur fact and fiction. Use narrative suspense to question how much of Babylon's truth remains hidden. Babylon's story extends far beyond its physical ruins. Across millennia, the city has existed as much in imagination as in stone and brick. In the Bible, Babylon is portrayed as a city of decadence and divine retribution, a place where hubris invites ruin. Epic poetry and Mesopotamian myths depict gods walking its streets, secret wisdom hidden in temples, and rulers who claimed knowledge beyond mortal comprehension. These accounts intertwine history with allegory, creating a narrative in which fact and fiction are almost inseparable. Legends speak of a city so magnificent that even the heavens seem to bend in its honor. Its ziggurats reached for the sky, while its streets glittered with gold and precious stones. Yet behind this splendor lurk stories of curses, hidden knowledge, and forbidden rites. Babylon reminds us that every civilization leaves traces of both what it wanted remembered and what it sought to conceal. While walls crumble and artifacts decay, the enigmas persist, encoded in stories, alignments, and structures that challenge our understanding of time, science, and human potential. Babylon becomes more than a historical site, it transforms into a canvas upon which mystery, curiosity, and imagination continue to play. Ultimately, Babylon's secrets may never be fully uncovered, but that is precisely what ensures its eternal allure. It is a city that exists not only in history but in the human fascination with the unknown. By walking its streets, studying its relics, and pondering its mysteries, we participate in a dialogue across millennia, one that asks whether civilization is measured solely by tangible achievements or by the enigmas it leaves behind. Babylon endures as both monument and mystery, inviting every new generation to wonder, to question, and to dream. Its walls may be silent, and its gardens lost, but the city's voice resonates through the sands of time, a whisper of knowledge, power, and secrets that may forever elude comprehension, ensuring that Babylon remains one of the most enigmatic and compelling civilizations the world has ever known. Folklore describes how Babylonian priests could influence fate, foretell disasters, or communicate with powers beyond human understanding. These tales, while fantastical, resonate with a recurring theme: Babylon was a place where ordinary rules of reality were challenged. Religious texts, too, reflect Babylon's duality. To some, it was a symbol of human pride punished by divine forces; to others, it was a repository of lost wisdom, a civilization whose understanding of the cosmos exceeded that of neighboring peoples. The same streets that historical records document as bustling markets are, in myth, depicted as paths to hidden knowledge, lined with symbols that only the initiated could decipher. This blending of memory and imagination ensures that Babylon continues to occupy both our historical consciousness and our collective mythos. Art and literature perpetuate the city's enigmatic aura. Poets, chroniclers, and historians across cultures have contributed to a vision of Babylon where the extraordinary was commonplace and the impossible merely concealed. Stories of apocalyptic visions, cosmic alignments, and secret teachings recur in writings separated by centuries, suggesting that Babylon's legend was deliberately preserved, transcending its physical demise. The contrast between historical reality and myth invites deep reflection. How much of Babylon's narrative is truth veiled by exaggeration, and how much is legend grounded in real, yet forgotten, knowledge? Each story, whether derived from ancient chronicles or modern interpretation, nudges us toward the unsettling possibility that Babylon's most profound secrets may never be fully revealed. Its memory, however, continues to inspire awe, fear, and fascination, ensuring that the city remains an enduring symbol of human ambition, mystery, and the tantalizing gap between what we know and what we might never comprehend. Explore modern attempts to uncover Babylon's mysteries, archaeological expeditions, satellite imagery, and unconventional research. Contrast mainstream scientific interpretations with fringe theories, leaving the audience questioning what is truly known versus deliberately obscured. In the 20th and 21st centuries, Babylon has become the focus of modern science, archaeology, and even speculative exploration. Excavations by renowned archaeologists have revealed layers of the city previously hidden beneath centuries of sand and debris. These discoveries have illuminated aspects of Babylonian society, architecture, and daily life, yet they also raise profound questions about knowledge that may have been deliberately concealed. Each dig uncovers evidence that challenges conventional historical narratives, leaving researchers both awed and perplexed. Satellite imagery and advanced technology now allow scholars to examine Babylon from angles previously impossible. Researchers have identified patterns in the layout of the city, including road alignments and the positioning of temples, which suggest purposes beyond mere practicality. Some alignments correspond to astronomical phenomena, reinforcing the notion that Babylonian builders incorporated a deep understanding of celestial mechanics into their urban design. Yet, despite these high-tech insights, many questions remain unanswered. Could these alignments have had spiritual, ritualistic, or even unknown technological purposes? Fringe researchers and theorists add further intrigue. Some propose that Babylon was a center of forbidden knowledge, a hub where ancient wisdom intersected with technologies now lost. Claims range from advanced energy systems and celestial communication to hidden chambers preserving esoteric teachings. While mainstream historians often dismiss these ideas as speculation, the persistent anomalies, artifacts out of place, inscriptions that resist translation, and architectural features that defy simple explanation, keep these theories alive. Eyewitness accounts, historical records, and rare artifacts continue to complicate the narrative. Travelers in antiquity reported wonders that modern reconstruction struggles to replicate. Some artifacts suggest a level of sophistication that seems incompatible with the tools and knowledge traditionally attributed to the period. This creates a tension between scientific rigor and the allure of the unknown, a tension that has fueled public fascination with Babylon for decades. Modern investigations also reveal a psychological element to the mystery. Researchers and archaeologists, aware of Babylon's legendary reputation, often approach findings with caution, knowing that every discovery could be interpreted either as mundane history or as a clue to something extraordinary. The interplay of empirical evidence and narrative speculation ensures that Babylon retains its dual identity, a real city grounded in history and a mythic place steeped in unanswered questions. As we examine these modern investigations, one truth becomes clear: the more we uncover, the more Babylon resists simple explanation. The city continues to straddle the line between fact and myth, science and speculation. Its mysteries remain intact, challenging both experts and enthusiasts to reconsider what is truly known about one of the greatest civilizations in human history, and what might forever remain hidden in the sands of time. Highlight unresolved enigmas, curses, hidden chambers, lost texts, and inexplicable astronomical alignments. Create tension by juxtaposing rigorous historical investigation with eerie, unexplained phenomena. Invite the viewer to consider whether Babylon was a civilization ahead of its time or something more extraordinary. Even after decades of study, Babylon continues to resist full understanding. Countless mysteries remain unresolved, shrouded in layers of history, myth, and speculation. Archaeologists have uncovered walls, gates, and temples that defy simple explanation. Certain inscriptions hint at knowledge deliberately concealed, perhaps dangerous, perhaps sacred, leaving modern scholars to debate their true meaning. Babylon's enigmas do not reside solely in its material remains, they echo through stories, symbols, and celestial alignments that continue to intrigue and unsettle. The city's so-called curses are among the most compelling unsolved phenomena. Texts describe rulers struck by madness, citizens afflicted by sudden calamities, and disasters that seem inexplicable even in historical context. Some argue these accounts were exaggerations or moral lessons, yet the consistency across sources suggests something more profound. Were these events natural, divine, or the consequence of knowledge we no longer understand? The answer remains elusive, leaving Babylon both haunted and fascinating. Hidden chambers and secret passageways add another layer of intrigue. Archaeologists have discovered rooms inaccessible through conventional means, some containing artifacts that appear out of place or purposefully enigmatic. The design of these spaces often suggests ritualistic or protective functions, hinting that Babylonian architects intended to safeguard something extraordinary. Were these chambers repositories of forbidden knowledge, or simply structural curiosities? The lack of definitive evidence ensures that speculation thrives. Lost texts and inscriptions amplify the sense of mystery. Clay tablets, codices, and carved stones reveal references to rituals, advanced technologies, and cosmic events that remain largely indecipherable. Scholars continue to puzzle over them, attempting translations and interpretations, but many of these messages resist comprehension. If fully understood, they could dramatically alter our perception of Babylonian knowledge and its place in history. Babylon's astronomical mysteries persist as well. Certain structures align precisely with celestial bodies, suggesting an advanced understanding of the cosmos. These alignments are not merely symbolic, they appear to reflect knowledge of cycles, eclipses, and planetary movement that could have influenced architecture, rituals, or societal planning. How the Babylonians achieved such precision remains a topic of intense debate, challenging assumptions about the limits of ancient science. The convergence of curses, hidden chambers, lost texts, and celestial anomalies paints a picture of a city deliberately designed to both awe and confound. Babylon seems to have operated on multiple levels, a center of power, culture, and learning, a repository of forbidden wisdom, and a stage for mysteries meant to endure across centuries. Every discovery raises more questions than it answers, emphasizing the tension between known history and the tantalizing unknown. As we contemplate these unsolved mysteries, a haunting question emerges: was Babylon merely a highly advanced civilization, or was it something more extraordinary, an intersection of human ingenuity and forces beyond ordinary understanding? The city's secrets, preserved through time, continue to defy definitive explanation, ensuring that Babylon remains not just a chapter of history but an enduring enigma, one that challenges the curious, the scholarly, and the imaginative alike. Conclude by reflecting on Babylon's enduring allure, the limits of science in explaining its mysteries, and its influence on history, myth, and imagination. Leave viewers with a cinematic final thought: Babylon's secrets may never be fully uncovered, ensuring its place as an eternal enigma. Babylon, once the crown jewel of Mesopotamia, continues to captivate minds across the world. Its towering ziggurats, massive walls, and sprawling streets speak of a civilization that achieved unprecedented grandeur. Yet, as much as archaeology and scholarship have revealed, the city's most profound mysteries remain untouched, concealed beneath layers of history and sand. Babylon's legacy is not confined to the physical remnants of its architecture, it exists in the interplay between known achievements and the enigmas that defy explanation. Science can reconstruct walls, measure ziggurats, and analyze artifacts, but it struggles to capture the full scope of Babylonian ingenuity, ambition, and the shadowed knowledge they may have possessed. The more we investigate, the more we realize that Babylon operated on multiple planes: practical, spiritual, and possibly metaphysical. Some knowledge was preserved, some lost, and some deliberately hidden, leaving gaps that fuel speculation, myth, and fascination. It is this tension, the juxtaposition of the known and the unknowable, that continues to enthrall historians, researchers, and mystery enthusiasts alike. Babylon's influence extends far beyond its geographical and temporal boundaries. Stories of divine wrath, forbidden rituals, and extraordinary accomplishments have shaped literature, religion, and collective imagination. Its name evokes both awe and fear, a symbol of human ambition and the potential consequences of reaching beyond ordinary limits. Even today, Babylon inspires filmmakers, authors, and scholars, inviting reinterpretation and re-examination of what humanity can achieve and what remains forever beyond reach. The city's lasting legacy is also a reflection on the nature of history itself. Babylon reminds us that every civilization leaves traces of both what it wanted remembered and what it sought to conceal. While walls crumble and artifacts decay, the enigmas persist, encoded in stories, alignments, and structures that challenge our understanding of time, science, and human potential. Babylon becomes more than a historical site, it transforms into a canvas upon which mystery, curiosity, and imagination continue to play. Ultimately, Babylon's secrets may never be fully uncovered, but that is precisely what ensures its eternal allure. It is a city that exists not only in history but in the human fascination with the unknown. By walking its streets, studying its relics, and pondering its mysteries, we participate in a dialogue across millennia, one that asks whether civilization is measured solely by tangible achievements or by the enigmas it leaves behind. Babylon endures as both monument and mystery, inviting every new generation to wonder, to question, and to dream. Its walls may be silent, and its gardens lost, but the city's voice resonates through the sands of time, a whisper of knowledge, power, and secrets that may forever elude comprehension, ensuring that Babylon remains one of the most enigmatic and compelling civilizations the world has ever known.